And then continuing on now, we have Act 4, which is, surprisingly enough, actually less bullshit than Act 3. I know, I was as surprised as you to hear that. Anyway, more of the mechanical bastards showing their faces. Including the one that throws rockets at you while having an armoured shield, so you can't just punch its head in for the hell of it. Something we all desperately want to do. You also start to get the first real appearance of those bastards, which I'm basically just going to call the dick choppers, because they're dicks, they're helicopters, and that's also what they inspire you to want to do to the creator of this game. And the Waspinator makes a return, easily dispatched when there's only one of them though. And a power-up sitting right in plain sight, thank God. There's one... See, the Waspinators are a lot worse when there's two of them, and when you're stuck on a platform so you can't just run and hide. And yeah, sometimes it's better to just take the hit and get on with things rather than try and play through it until you're not fucking anything up. Because really, when you're standing on a steel girder above a whole bunch of clearly OC health and safety violating drill bits, perfection sometimes isn't your friend. You know, the perfect is the enemy of the good in that situation. And now we have more giant spikes in the ground. I don't know what the hell is going on here. This is like some sort of medieval torture factory. You know, spikes, chains. We'll be seeing the whips in a second. And that's the funny thing about this one. These spikes don't actually give any visual or audible warning when they've hit you. And the hit detection on them is buggy as fuck. Almost as annoying as these goddamn eyeballs, which you'll get a look at just there. Who spray fire at you. And yeah, I should have ducked that one, I'm an idiot. So, they are giant eyeballs that spray fire. What should... fuck it, I don't know. You see what I mean about the hit detection being a little bit odd on the regular enemies sometimes? It is possible, like, just there to get clipped with an attack you weren't actually anywhere near. Or to take touch damage, just like there, despite not actually touching the enemy. Still, it's a few annoyances aside, the collision detection's pretty good in this game. You know, because if it wasn't, you'd be fucked. I've said it before, I still feel kind of sorry for the, you know, poor old average human ninjas in this game. Because look at what they got to compete with for a paycheck. I mean, seriously. And yes, the barrier power is incredibly useful for this section. It's quite useful in some of the other stages as well, but it gets more useful as the game goes on, because the game gets more and more fond of throwing enemies at you from the vertical plane. You know, as one giant fuck you. Not that this game needed any more giant fuck yous, but it certainly got them. And the giant purple planes, which I don't even have a name for, I'm going to have to think of one. I was going to call them the Violators. Because they are phallic, they are purple, and they kind of spray stuff at you when they're annoyed. That and they speed up fire and then slow down to a crawl, so I can't really think of a better nickname for them at this point. And yeah, you will take hits in sections like this, because you see what I mean about them speeding up and slowing down. Their own reasons. Usually they slow down after firing, sometimes they fire and then speed up. This game is very, very fond of fucking with you for the hell of it. And, you know, letting the enemies do all the shit you wish you could. Yeah, I apologise not in advance, but for all the save stating bullshit I'm doing. I'm playing like crap with this, and I cannot be fucked doing this level again. This was meant to be a blind playthrough, but I fucked up the recording again. I'm screwing this recording more than, you know, Ray screws his sister, so... It's funny because he's a redneck. You know, I occasionally, like, hear things actually go right for me once in a while. Doesn't happen too often. And here we have the boss fight. This is actually one of the most fucked up boss fights in there, because it is... If you know what's coming, it is the most pathetically easy boss fight in the game. Like, it should be maybe the level 2 boss fight at best. The only time it's even remotely difficult is when you're first pegging the pattern, in which case you do take a few hits. But basically, he throws a bunch of flame balls at you, he pops up, wanders around so you can hit him with your stick repeatedly, and then dies. So it's basically like a giant armoured dodo, as opposed to a giant armoured dildo, which I really didn't want to hear about today. And if Ryu hasn't learned not to trust the mysterious, spooky gentleman giving you advice, he's a fucking idiot. Particularly not when his name is Clancy. Now, I smell a Resident Evil crossover. But seriously, Clancy? The fuck is he, some sort of Australian bushman? Or, you know, some sort of right-wing nationalist author? I don't know. Maybe he is both. Actually, that's a good question. What the fuck is a bionoid? Okay, Clancy, you are not explaining what a bionoid is here. I think we've misinterpreted something. Yes, this is definitely not explaining what a bionoid is. It's something, but it's not an explanation. Okay, this really does deserve a Resident Evil crossover. Okay, finally. Thank you very much, Clancy. So bionoids are basically G-zombies. Little bit slow on the uptake there, Ryu. Just a little bit. And if you were surprised by this, Ryu, you're even slower on the uptake than I thought. And I really didn't think you were that fast on it to begin with. Oh, come on, Ryu, you can't be that stupid.